Well, hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box, where today I wish a very happy birthday to the wonderful Brian Auger, who I've seen many times and who's a really nice guy who I've had the privilege to meet a few times. But that's not the only thing great about him. Brian Auger is quite simply put one of the finest Hammond B3 organ players of all time. I put him in a pantheon with people like Larry Young, people like Jimmy Smith, people like Joey DeFrancesca. He was really, really a master. And I say was because I'm talking about past music, but he is because not only is he very much alive, but he's very much touring and he's doing great. He's been playing with his children for a long time. His son Karma is a wonderful drummer, and he's got Savannah Grace, who's a wonderful vocalist, and so many great people have passed through his bands over the years, but he really was and is the superstar in all of the bands, my favorite of which being the Oblivion Express, which over various lineups has produced such great music. Now, for a long time, the original Oblivion Express albums were out of print globally. Now they're back. They're on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Tidal, and all of the rest of it. And I really just suggest listening to all of the Oblivion Express albums in order. I don't know if they're listed in order on Spotify. They need to work on that. But you can obviously find the discography, put them in order, sit back, and be amazed. Now, the first thing you'll probably notice is this guy's fast. His fingers move very quick across the keyboard, but they also move very, very tastefully, which is why Tony Williams, for example, loved playing with him, and it's why many great vocalists loved playing with him, because he was a master of good taste. And because of that, he fit in well with instrumental acts like what Tony Williams did in the late 70s with Brian, and a lot of that was recorded. There was, of course, a bootleg, but very well worthwhile, say that three times, recording of a band that Tony put together for a tour of Japan. It featured Brian on the organ, Ronnie Montrose on guitar. At one point, Billy Cobham and Tony Williams do a dual drum set thing. You should definitely check that out. That is on Spotify and the rest of it too. Brian also played with Tony on the Joy of Flying album. So check that stuff out. Check out all of the Oblivion Express stuff. The album Second Wind is absolutely marvelous. If I had to just choose one, the song Second Wind, if I had to just choose one. But there's also, of course, a cover of John McLaughlin's Dragon Song, which appeared on McLaughlin's wonderful but somewhat overlooked Devotion album. And just a few years after that came out on the original, you mean the first Oblivion Express album, Brian does a wonderful version of that, doing on the organ what John did on guitar, and it's just absolutely a sight to behold. Wonderful musicians in their own right. Many stars came in and out of the Oblivion Express over the years. But as I said, Brian was the center of the band, the center of attention, not because he was an egotist, definitely not that, but because his playing was just so mesmerizing. This, as you see, was his typical setup. He had a Fender electric piano on top of his organ, and it was that simple setup that let him take on the world. With an organ and an electric piano, he could do it all. He does do it all. And I've seen him many times, both in the UK and in the US. He, of course, tours all over the world. In the UK, Ronnie Scott's was a place that was very close to his origins as a young musician, and a place that he's returned to many times since, both with the original Oblivion Express and with more contemporary lineups. In LA, you can see him a lot at places like the Baked Potato, wonderful jazz club there in Studio City, not far from Hollywood. Marvelous stuff. When you see Brian Auger, it's sort of a gig that just makes you forget all of your troubles. Not only because the music is that wonderful and indelible combination of fun and virtuosity, but because of his personality. He's a great MC. He's great at entertaining the crowd. He's hilarious. He's a nice guy, and you can really feel the warmth on stage. You can feel it in the music. I know it might sound hokey, but you can even feel the love. So definitely check out Brian Auger. And now that at long last, his Oblivion Express albums are all back on the streaming services. Listen to them all and get ready to be blown away. Whether you're into jazz, blues, rock, soul, R&B, acid jazz, if you like any of those genres, or even if you don't, you're going to love it. Trust me. Like, subscribe. We will see you next time. Take care.